welcome back to the Frog Bath. Today we're talking about whether you should build your own fish pond. If you don't want to watch this whole video, the answer is yes. Okay, so you probably think the answer is yes, and I'm going to tell you for sure why that's the right answer and not just you convincing yourself it's a good idea. So first off, you got to make sure that you're building the right pond for your climate and for what you want to get out of it. So if you live somewhere cold, that's not a reason to not build a pond. Where I live, it'll regularly get below zero during the winter. That's not a big deal. Our pond runs all winter long. If you live somewhere warm, well, then you really got no excuse. If you don't think you have space, you probably do. I mean, maybe you don't have space for everything you might want to make, but there's all kinds of pond form factors. Do you want a big old dedicated koi pond? Do you want like a garden fish pond? Do you want, this is a water feature, you know? Hear the sound of water? Chill out. Could be nice, right?
I mean, sure, this makes the sound of running water, but I don't think it's what most people are thinking of when they think of a water feature. And it also attracts animals.
Think about what kind of maintenance you're realistically going to be able to put in the pond. But don't let environmental factors like temperature or space talk you out of building your own fish pond. Because if you can save up just a little bit of money, you can build it. We were able to build our pond for just over $1,000. My neighbor was able to build her pond for just over $1,000. Now, that's a significant savings off of if we had hired our local company affiliate to come in and dig a pond for us. I mean, that's a minimum of $10,000. So there are definitely a few factors that helped us keep our pond on budget. The main one was being able to source things like our rocks locally. If we weren't able to source our own rocks, our cost would have gone up by several $100s. So we live in New England and there's no shortage of old stone on our property. So we were able to get all of that. And we were able to move that. We do have a tractor now. You may have seen it in some videos. But we didn't have the tractor when we built the majority of the pond. And we were able to move some really large rocks with just a moving dolly and a couple of ratchet straps. So you want a moving dolly with wheels that cannot go flat. So, you know, not those solid rubber wheels, not a tube wheel, and a couple ratchet straps, and you can move some pretty big rocks. So we were able to source all of that, and that saved us a ton of money. Even still, if we had purchased rocks, it still would have been a relatively affordable project compared to hiring somebody to come out. So if you're thinking about building your own pond and you don't mind putting in the effort to do some digging by hand and the effort to move some rocks around, then you can probably get it done for a little over $1,000. And if you're talking about just building an external water feature, the best way to source the containers for that, whether it's an old soapstone sink or a plastic barrel, is Craigslist, or I guess maybe Facebook Marketplace if you're into that sort of thing. And you can find one locally, and you can do those builds for just a few $100s. And the last form factor is a dedicated koi pond. If that's what you're looking for, you should find another video. All I know about them is the research that I did before we built our pond, and I decided that it reminded me too much like keeping large fish tanks, which we had just gotten out of when we, you know, started really thinking about doing a pond. That about wraps everything up for us. Talked about the 3 different form factors: regular water features, garden ponds like this one, and dedicated koi ponds. Somewhere in there, I'll put a few links in the description for a few cool builds. You should be able to find a project that fits your budget. All you got to do to build a pond is decide to build a pond, and a little hard work, a little cash.